replying to one of my emails. I'm rambling at this point. Let's just go over the email real quick because I'm sure a lot of you might have no experience with this kind of thing. So let's just go into it a little bit. Dear Andrew, thank you for your application to the PhD program. We've had a large number of applicants this semester, and unfortunately, we regret to inform you that we were unable to reject your application. You gonna be a doctor! I am a PhD student now. I'm not a fake grad student. I'm sorry, by the way, if that tricked you. I had to do it. It was kind of hilarious. It's kind of your fault if you were tricked because, as we have all seen in my previous videos, I'm a terrible actor. Why would you fall for that? I guess in your defense, if you fell for it, it's sort of understandable because I've had plenty of experience with rejection letters, so I know how they sound. They're always like,
"We had over 5 applicants. We couldn't accept them all. And naturally, you're the one we're not going to let in, Andrew. Screw you."
So you're let off the hook this time. Let's read the actual letter itself. So it says, well, first off, for context, I sent an email with my final grades as soon as I could. And I said, thank you for the quick action and sending a copy of your transcript. But we've already had feedback from your instructors, so they already made up their mind before getting my final grades, I guess. We are happy to offer you admission with financial support as a 20-hour teaching assistant starting in January. So when you get into your PhD programs, really there's two ways of getting in. You can get in as a teaching assistant or as a research assistant. The research assistant is much more rare. So teaching assistant is almost the custom. It's pretty much expected that that's what you'll do. So the 20-hour means, I'm assuming that means 20 hours a week working as a TA. So, conducting the labs for the little kids and all that good stuff. And then they said that they'll come back with more of the logistics, but they just wanted to let me know all this stuff now. So, yeah, I am now a PhD student. All I have to do is make sure to pass the qualifiers that is in a month. All grad students have to take the qualifier. All master's or PhD students have to take the qualifying exam. And then I think you can qualify at the PhD or the master's level. I wasn't going for my master's in the first place. When I was taking classes last semester, I was straight up non-degree seeking. I was just paying to take classes at NMSU. So I moved, the 2,000 miles across the country to take classes at a place I didn't get into just to better my chances. Because I said, well, if I do well at their own school in the graduate program, that'll be a really good indicator on if I can handle grad school. That was my thought process. And I guess it paid off, so that's pretty good news. So all grad students have to take that qualifying exam. It's on classical mechanics, quantum, statistical physics, and electrodynamics. And then there's also a comprehensive exam that is exclusive for PhD students. I don't know enough about it. I have no idea when it is. It's not January 19th, though, because that's the qualifying exam. It's an 8-hour test. I really need to start preparing for that. I think within this next week, I'm going to start studying probably more statistical mechanics just because I haven't looked at it since undergrad. So that's probably what needs the biggest refresher right now. Sorry, that was kind of a tangent, but it's kind of funny because I was here eating lunch yesterday with my sister and my mom. That's when I actually found out about this stuff because we were just talking and I got an email from the grad school and I thought it was just going to be a confirmation of, they got my final grades or something. And here I got the news. I was like,
I found out something.
I get to tell, I found out with them, which was cool. And that's what's kind of cool about the holiday season is, even if it was the bad news, at least I would have been with my family, which is nice. But it was good, and there was, it seems like everyone had good news because Kelly did fantastic in her classes this semester. So I'm super proud of her. It's her birthday today. So everyone say happy birthday to Kelly.
Seize one time for us. There it is. Yeah, look at that, man.
this is what I would be doing. Party. But in my new life, on a Saturday, I'm at home, resting or working. The truth is, I haven't partied even once in the last year because this partying is a huge time commitment. Just look at the math. It takes 3 hours to get ready, meet friends, and get to the party. The party itself takes 5 hours minimum, and if you drink, the next day you will wake up late and feel horrible for the next 12 hours. 12 plus 3 plus 5, that's 20 hours gone of your life just for a party. And this kills your weekend productivity. That's why now I mostly stay at home with friends or go to simple parties with the same amount of fun, feeling a lot better with more money in my pocket and more time on my hands. That's 1 minute!
for a hot minute who actually did the one of my colleagues did an introduction for Kim and I here. And now I work for Accenture and I run a sales operations team. on the side have clients and help them run digital ads. And I think it's really fascinating what's out there. My preference is to run Facebook and Snapchat right now. I do a little bit of paid search, but mostly just do those two as far as marketing mix goes. And then I dabble a little bit with LinkedIn as well, depending on what your goals are.
Oh, you also do LinkedIn ads?
Yeah, I've
That's
got some people,
crazy.
yeah, for targeting purposes and just trying to see what CPMs we can get. But yeah, I've tried to play a little bit with everything, but I have a favoritism for Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat right now.
Oh, wow. So, guys, have you heard her line? She has experience in all these ad platforms. So, maybe we're on here for Snapchat, but if you have questions about Facebook ads or maybe even LinkedIn ads, drop them in the comments below. Hey, Jeffrey. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Nikhil. Hey, Daxi. Yes, Daxi. 2 interviews in 1 day. Yes. Hey, Hillary. Hey, Van. Thanks for joining us. Yay, everyone. So I'll ask. Let's start with some questions. If you guys don't have questions, I'm gonna ask the questions. But now is the time to ask questions because I know with ads, there's so many things that you can do, right? So, yes. Oh, Nikhil actually has a question.
Okay.
Snapchat relatively more converting as opposed to what, Nikhil? Like Facebook ads? I don't know.
Gosh, that could mean so many different things, right? Like, are you talking about, is it upper funnel only? Can Snapchat achieve like direct response and, conversions on online? Let me just go ahead and start by saying, whenever I meet any of my friends who are in like the marketing realm and I tell them I do Snapchat ads, they're just like, okay, so you only target teenagers. You're only doing these like crazy lenses or filters where I'm just going to take a photo of my dog. What is that going to do for me? No, what I'm actually doing for clients that I have is we're able to run website conversion campaigns. We're able to drive online sales. The biggest industry for Snapchat is what I learned is if you're an app like me to drive any sort of app engagement, this is it, because everyone who gets the ad on Snapchat is going to be on a mobile phone, and that's so prime when you're trying to drive app installs. And then finally, lead generation, like you can definitely push for signups. They have all the same objectives, and their self-serve tool called Ads Manager, wink wink, is basically like the same thing as Facebook's Ads Manager platform, just painted yellow, right? But there's some nuances in between since they're so young to the game that aren't as sophisticated, and as a user on Snapchat, you don't give as much data back as who you are. So targeting can be a little bit more broad, but still like you can achieve quite a lot. And I add it to a lot of my clients as marketing mixes for a reason, because it's not just awareness, you can also do a lot of other stuff with it too.
Awesome. That's really good to know. If you have an app, you guys, Snapchat. Oh.
Hell
and
yeah.
Greg has a question. It's kind of long, so I put it on the screen. How do you get those super cheap 2 cents to 0.1 ads I see people get with Snap? I ran some Snap ads, and wow, they started charging like up to $2 to $5 per click and hitting over $50 per day.
Okay, so that was a long one, right? I want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly.
You want me to throw it back up again? Here.
Maybe it's like a pop quiz, right? So I've seen CPMs anywhere from $1 to $6, depending on our targeting. I've seen swipe ups, cost per swipe ups, which is like kind of the equivalent of a CPC, like cost per click, anywhere from like 1 cent, actually like 1 cent, but most of it ranges around like 50 cents, depending on your targeting again. But more importantly, the other lever is bidding. You have to do manual bidding on Snapchat, which is different than say on Ads Manager for Facebook, because they've kind of incorporated that automatic bid for you. And so if you're not bidding competitively with whatever quality your creative is, because they do take creative seriously on Snapchat's platform, then you're not going to win enough auctions, and then your CPMs are going to rise, and then your cost per swipe up is going to be high. And so your ad account, right? Like my first gut instinct is to say, what were you bidding? And then secondly, like what creative were you publishing? Because if you're just trying to use the same thing that's on Instagram as you are on Snapchat, you're likely not going to perform as well because you do need to tailor and customize your creative. It takes up the whole phone, so it's got to be 9:16, and they've got some weird creative policies, but we got to abide by them, right?
Okay, so one policy is the 9:16 dimension. Do you know, like, let us know what other policies they have?
Yeah, no worries. So, I mean, like, their policies on their public-facing website is pretty thorough, in my opinion. I mean, like, you can't drive traffic. I think this is really important for this group, too, is that you can drive traffic to pretty much anything, right? Like a browser to a website to a lead gen page to the App Store, you know, regardless if you're doing the Google Play Store or whatnot. The thing is, and maybe this is like mom and dad fighting, but you cannot drive traffic to another social media site. So for instance, like a chat bot or like Facebook page or, you know, Instagram page, can't do that. Or even YouTube. So just consider that. That was a huge one that I learned, but alternatively, you could do, you know, pretty much everything else on here. So again, it's kind of like mom and dad are fighting because the reasoning behind it, from my opinion, is because it's competitor. So if engagement's your end game, then let's discuss something else. But in the other alternative, you can run, you know, ads pretty much anywhere else on here. As far as, so I guess rewind a little bit to paint perspective for anybody who's not a Snapchat user. There's actually 4 types of products on here. There's the filters, you can pay for lenses, and those are the things that you put on your images or videos, like, you know, kind of like replicating your crown, Kim, like you can make yourself a lens like that.
Cool.
Those are strictly awareness though, right? Like there's no DR response here. There's no ability to like say, I use your lens and now I'm going to like serve you an ad to send you a coupon for something. Yeah. But you can run like something called a snap ad that goes in between people's stories. So like users on Snapchat spend about like 2 minutes on the platform and on the app. And when they're swiping through like pictures of their dog, pictures of people's food, traveling, things like that, you get served this ad called a snap ad. And that takes up the entire screen. And what we found is that when you have videos or images that replicate that kind of native experience, so like maybe lower quality images, less like high resolution, people are more likely to swipe up to investigate a little bit more because you seem less fishy. And then finally, the 4th type of product is a story ad. And those are like, they have tiles on the right side of the app where you can watch like e-news, Kevin Hart, there's bloggers, there's like publisher stories, they even have original stories. Story ads are a compilation. Think of them like the equivalent of either a collection ad or a carousel ad on Facebook. You can flip through them and it tells a whole entire story. So you're able to get more out of your videos because each clip has to be maximum 10 seconds. So if you just want to run one 10-second ad, whether it be image or video, you could do a snap ad. That's what it's called. If you want to do like a longer video, maybe break it up into segments of up to 10 seconds, maybe throw out that carousel. You can do try to top 10, you know, outfits that my store is selling right now. And then each swipe up can take you to a unique landing page. So there's like a lot of versatility behind here.
Oh, wow. I feel like you are so experienced. You're just like talking about it as if it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. This is what you do.
I dove in really deep 6 months ago when I stumbled onto it. It's crazy enough to admit that. Yeah, I just fell into it on accident, honestly. And I was kind of shitting on it like everyone else kind of started doing. And as soon as I started playing with it more and as I got more competitive, releasing like their Snap Pixel, because you can add that to a website now, finding out clients who are with app installs, things like that. I'm like, oh God, like there's less advertisers on here. The competition's so much less. It's cheaper to run. And you can perform pretty much everything else that Facebook and Instagram are doing. Why aren't we all doing this right now, jumping on it? Like Q4 right now saw a crazy amount of web conversions for people who are trying to run Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales, right? And I don't think enough people knew about it, which kind of played to my clients' benefits because then their CPMs were super low. And they saw high ROAS. So I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Wow. I mean, oh my God.
I know, it's a little secret that I'm like, now that Black Friday is over, I'm like, actually, everyone come on.
You're like, shh, don't tell anyone. No, it's fine. Hey, Greg. Hey, Simon. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Tarkin. Hey, Omar. You guys, if you're on here live, hashtag live and smash the heart button. And if you're watching the replay, then hashtag replay. But yeah, I just learned something. I mean, it's not like I'm everywhere and I know everything, because I don't. But it's so cool that I get to speak to you, and you're telling me, hey, everyone should be on here because the cost per click is lower. There's less competition and you see really good returns. Now, you said specifically it works really well for apps. What other products would Snapchat ads work well for that you've seen?
I think one of the more saturated markets is like beauty mavens. So like if you're makeup or if you're retail, then you're going to face a little bit more competition on the platform, but it's only because they work well on here. And that's a lot of what people are looking for. They're looking for those quick fixes. You know, if your headline or copy says like, this can solve everything kind of thing. Gadgets. Seen a lot of signups actually, because they have an autofill feature so that when you swipe up to a landing page, it'll take your user information and populate it in. So people have seen signups. Free app installs, again, like will be like a killer, because then if you have an MMP, like a mobile measurement partner, then you can measure and re-engage people who've downloaded your app, so that they can make like in-app purchases. Can't really specify anything past that. Trying to think of like my clients and who's doing well right now. My most successful one currently is coincidentally like a lead gen client, which is so weird because I thought it would be ecom because it's the holiday season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. One thing I think I should throw out there for anyone who's like, wait, this is too good to be true, it a little bit is, in the sense that you have to be willing to, they do have a $50 daily budget minimum that you have to be willing to spend. Now, not everyone's going to spend that, because if you're charged per impression, you do have to be willing to put up a budget or like equate your lifetime budget to equal about $50 a day. Too, right? Like it's actually working backwards a bit.
Oh wow, $50 a day minimum. So you can't be just like experimenting.
No,
What?
so I mean, I guess I should caveat that most of the clients that I have are spending anywhere from $500 a week to, and that's like within 5 days, to like a couple thousand. And so it's not the cheapest platform, but when you break it down and look at your metrics, like CPMs are showing up super low, right? And eventually I'm sure they'll lower that daily budget, but for now it's kind of like, all right, it's really only friendly to people who can afford that.
Oh, I see. Oh, hey guys, thanks for joining us, Simon. Hey Nick is in the MLM space. I don't know if you've seen Snapchat do anything with MLM, but we will take an audience question right now. Simon says, does Snapchat have the same false accounts such as other social channels?
What do you mean by false accounts? Do you know what he's talking about?
Maybe like if it's an Instagram, there's like false followers, bots, accounts. This is almost LinkedIn rates. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm like trying to think what that would mean, because sorry, I just never heard of that term before. But if it's in regards to like, I know on Facebook you have to be a real person to have your own account, and therefore like their targeting is supposed to be reflective of real people, things like that. No, there's like no regulation to say like your username has to represent a real person. It can even represent like a business. There's also not the equivalent of like a business page on Facebook on Snapchat. So like Mike's Bikes Shop, if he wanted to run advertising on Snapchat, you would create a user account for maybe Mike or even Mike's Bikes. And then after that, Oh, sorry. And then you'd create your own business manager for Mike's Bikes. And in the ad itself, your brand is Mike's Bikes. But you'll never be able to link it to the username saying Mike's Bikes published it, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit different there where the app or the ad is going to only have one call to action, meaning you're going to send them to that landing page of whatever it is, or they're going to swipe right through to their next story, image, or whatever. There's no way to drive it to like the business account and say like, let me verify who's publishing this. Like if it's political, of course, they're going to say sponsored by, but everything other than that kind of like sensitive PC sort of account management is not going to be indicative of saying like Mike's Bikes published an ad for Mike's Bikes. Like an agency can totally publish anything for their client without exposing who the agency is.
Oh, all right. I hope that answers your question. Let's see. So, so right now, you said you fell into it, and it seems like a lot of people I interview who have like success doing what they're doing, like Dylan, he fell into it because he got assigned, Facebook ads from Accenture, and it's like, do you think that that's like a wise thing to do if someone wants to get really good at, let's say Snapchat or Facebook ads or whatever, like they should go and seek that internship or go and seek that employment and work for a little bit and get really good? Or do you think you could have gotten what you know now from Google.com?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. It's a great question because I look back, I'm like, I got really lucky, and I think I'm just a hard worker, and I love to like study. I'm a bit of a nerd about all this kind of stuff. But I actually worked with Dylan, right? And him and I and our coworkers on the last project, we all bonded outside of work, and we geeked out about like the newest thing on Facebook or Instagram, and we wanted to like, we're hungry for that knowledge. So it wasn't really because of the job. The job brought us all together, and we all shared that common like love for this industry and this subject. But unfortunately, like I don't know that it was because that job provided us like maybe some internal sight that we honed our skills as much as we did. Now we managed like a book of business. We had advertisers across the field, like mostly e-commerce on that one. But I mean, love you, Dylan, but we both like failed a few times with a few advertisers when we were trying some like experimental strategies. But if it wasn't for those learning curves, I mean, we would have never figured out what actually works well and what doesn't, right? So like, does the bully method work? Does, bidding for more versus less make a difference on whatever platform? Does your targeting need to be, all those kind of questions? You need to like go for it and be willing to risk a little bit. Sure, we lost a bit of money doing it, but overall, like we were adaptable and quick enough to adjust that. I mean, we always came out through positively. So I don't know. I don't regret my decision to go into and fall into it, but I also don't think it was because of the opportunity. If anything, it was the people I surrounded myself with. And we still talk like pretty much every day. So it's fascinating what's going on.
Well, I did an interview with Dylan, and he's like hilarious. So it's a friend because he said he recorded himself doing an ad where he's just poking at furniture or doing random crap. So weird.
Yeah, I think you have to be a little, I mean, like, I'm not going to be Dylan. And if you watch that interview with Kim and Dylan, I mean, he's something else, right? But the common trait is that we just go for it because what's the worst that could happen? You find out it doesn't work, then just keep moving and study the metrics. Like every decision we always make, like, and I say we as in like the people I surround myself with, it's always data driven. So it's never like my gut is telling me to go this way. Maybe it starts that way, but our decisions afterwards are always metric and data driven.
Gotcha. Hey Daxi, thanks for joining us. Hey Faz. Hey Nikhil. Guys, smash that heart button and hashtag live if you're here live, and hashtag replay if you're catching the replay. Man, that air conditioning is like kind of getting louder. I don't know.
I don't know if it's me then, because it actually is off in my office here.
Oh, I don't know. But when you do talk, I hear your voice very clearly, and like the background sound gets muffled. So that's good. No, it's just when you talk, it's fine.
Awesome.
Let's see. So I don't know. I usually interview people who like jump ship from their job, and you're like still in your job. you haven't ran out, escaped or tried to. I don't know. So I would have to ask you like a set of different questions.
I mean, you're fine. I can tell you why I stayed, though. To your point, like
Yeah.
the people I still keep in touch with, like those guys, you're right. Like most of them jumped ship because they found a passion for something else and wanted to start their own thing. For me, I wanted to stay to run an operations program because I love growing other people's careers and just seeing how the machine works, so to say, being that inside person. And then I kind of give that feedback back to, my friends and people who I know. And then it can only make the industry stronger, is my opinion. So that's why. And I actually prefer this stable environment, I guess. Like I'm less of that person who wants to do everything themselves and maybe like start a business from scratch. But yeah, so that's why I'm still here, kind of helping another client run an operations program. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's totally cool. I mean, I have friends who they invented stuff, like they invented things, and that their invention makes like 6 figures on the side, and they're like a operations manager at their startup that just went public, that they're like the 4th employee of or whatever, and they stay because it's very lucrative and very stable, but they have their projects just fine. So
Yeah.
like I don't see people who have their own business different than people who stay in a good job and helping other people. Like it's like, all good.
There's positives on both sides. So I find a little drive staying here, but I also find a little drive helping others outside as well. So I mean, hell, bring it on, right? Got to do something after work.
Oh wait, does that mean that you do take on clients that are outside of your job?
I do, yeah. I mostly work with the guys that were on the when I was at Facebook and whatnot. So usually we just go through them as like the point of contact and main leads. But I mean, I'm happy to provide advice or consultation to anyone. And if you have questions along the way, I mean, you can always message me. But these guys like dedicate themselves, when I'm at my day job, then you at least have a source of like truth there too.
Oh, wow. That is so cool. Let's ask an audience question. Okay, this is from Nikhil. Let's see if I can pull it up. Janet, can you tell us about a campaign you've done and how long it took and how much effort went into it, like a data collection, content drafts, and such? What's that creation side of ad campaigns look like?
Oh my gosh, that is a beautiful question. Actually, that's so funny that you asked it because I was thinking before meeting you today, I was like, I should really touch on that. And I've completely like forgotten to touch on that. Cool. So let's just start from the beginning. Okay. Let's assume that you've never made an account before for your dog, for your business, for you, whatever, right? So you're going to first have to create a user account. Like I use my personal one, but you don't have to advertise on behalf of your personal account. You just need to use it to log in. Then you're going to create a business manager account, and that's super straightforward. And that can be done through like, I think it's like forbusiness.snapchat.com. And then you use your personal account to log in. It will create an account, and there you have to tie a funding source, pretty standard across the board. Let's see here. When you're ready to run a campaign, then you'll hop into manage ads. Coincidentally, the reverse word of ads manager, right? They're so clever. And then you go to create ads, and then they'll ask you 2 things. They'll ask you either, do you want to do the quick and easy version, which is almost like a boosted post, and don't ever do that because it's strictly awareness based, and I can't tell you how many people flush their money down the toilet doing it. You want to do advanced create, and that advanced create, because that actually is going to look a lot similar. It's basically the yellow version of Facebook's ads manager. Like they literally have the 3 columns, like awareness, do you want consideration, do you want conversions? And I'm like, oh my God, okay. You click whichever one you want, let's say drive traffic to website. And then you name your campaign, you jump into the ad set level, you name your ad set, you pick out which placement you're targeting, and then finally your budget and bid. All sounds pretty familiar. If you already know what you want, that'll take a few seconds. Then you jump to the ad level, and then that's where you design the front end of the ad. You know, like this is the part that might take the most time. And what I would recommend is having the ad creative ready ahead of time. And so assuming that you do the 9:16 image or video, you'll add it to the ad, you'll upload it, and then you'll give it your brand a quick little cute headline or whatever your brand identity is. And then you'll put in the URL or deep link or whatever you're trying to drive traffic to, or just keep it alone if you're just trying to do awareness, and publish. That's it. So that could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 2 hours. And the 2 hours I've seen from other people because they didn't have their ad ready. And if you don't have your ad ready, I mean, like I'm someone who sticks around and tries to like center the logo perfectly. And I'm like, damn it, it's 1 millimeter off. And then I'm just like, you know, like twitching everything. But anyways, they have another tool in there called Snap Publisher that comes with your business manager account. It's essentially like a Snapchat Photoshop, and you can pull in your Facebook or Instagram photos, stitch it together, use their templates, add some like frame by frame action so it moves, or just upload a quick 10-second video and then turn it into, you know, that snap ad. But yeah, that's all in all the process. And after you publish it, review takes anywhere like the standard is 24 hours, 72 hours, no different than Facebook. And yeah, it starts delivering.
Wow. That's very thorough. Thanks, Janet.
You're welcome.
You took us through that whole journey.
The whole thing.
Hey, Samil, thanks for joining. Samil is an actual one of my friends who rock climb.
Hey.
Internet people.
I'm in Denver, Colorado, and I'm such a black sheep because I feel like everyone is a bit in love with REI and rock climbing and hiking. Yeah. I'm like, I don't mind it, but yeah, no.
All right, cool. Hey guys, you're here. Smash the heart button, #live, and #replay if you're catching the replay and learning about Snapchat ads. Let's see. Cool. Yeah, that's cool. A lot more than what I expected. Nikhil, who asked the question, that's really cool. It's a lot more than what he expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should try running some ads at $50 budget a day.
I mean, hey, if it gives you like the ROAS you're looking for, 50 is nothing, right? So yeah. That's what I always say. So yeah, they have, speaking of ROAS, they have a Snap Pixel. So it's kind of like a Facebook Pixel, right? A JavaScript piece of code that you can put on the back of the website. The one thing with that as well is that it's relatively new. There's not so many integrations with like although that it's still going to require a web developer to do so, quite frankly. So unless you're Shopify, I would just highly recommend you bring on someone who knows JavaScript very well, knows your website very well, because you use the pixel code that they give you in your ad account to include user parameters. And that's because if we don't pass back the user data to say like Janet is on this website after she saw the advertisement on Snap, Pixel's not going to know who I am. It'll track the cookie data, but it can't, do a fuzzy match and say like, oh, because she saw, we're going to attribute your sale that she made at night to this campaign, right? So there's a little bit of implementation troubleshooting. I think Snapchat just they just released a Shopify implementation that's pretty similar to Facebook's, where all you need is your Pixel ID, pop it into the back end of your Shopify site, and it'll do the rest for you, right? That's all we've ever wanted, but that only is available, from my understanding, on Shopify. So lucky you if you're on Shopify. If not, then it'll take a little bit more work, but definitely still there so that you can attribute your spend and unlock website conversion optimizations.
Oh, wow. So you kind of have to find someone who's a developer if you don't have Shopify that.
I'm not a coder, so I think I'm being dramatic when I say it's like the hardest thing in the world, because I don't know what the user parameter they're asking for is. But I've worked with plenty of web developers through this. It's just boom, boom, boom. But for me, who speaks like very simple terms and non-scripting terms, I'm like, that was like Japanese. I speak Chinese. I'm not gonna say I know Chinese, but like that was like you speaking Japanese to me, and I'm like, No, I don't know what you just.
Yeah, I work with developers. I actually have Chrome extensions. I have a Chrome extension that I published and it's selling. And I'm like, hey, you need to record this for me because I don't know how to do this one thing. And he recorded. He's like, yeah, Ken, this is what you do. And then it's a bunch of code. And I'm like, what?
God.
And so I like play, pause, figure it out, you know. And I'm like, man, it's yeah, you need to have some skills to just code.
Yeah. But I know if it's important to you to have that metrics on Ads Manager, sure, they can show you the cost per swipe up and sure they can show you CPMs. They'll never be able to show you ROAS unless you have that pixel on. And if you're an app developer, you're never going to see the ROAS either unless you have something called like an MMP, like a mobile measurement partner, because they don't have an SDK. Don't ask me.
What's a mobile? You said an MMP. What MMPs are there that has a name to it? Like,
no, you're fine. I was gonna say, don't ask me what an SDK is because I completely forgot what that acronym means. I know that Facebook has one, but I'm just like, no. But if you're an app developer and you're trying to measure things that happen in and on your app, such as like how many times someone installed my app, such as, you know, how many times someone took an action within it, then you're going to need to partner or at least have a partner called a mobile measurement partner. Examples are like AppsFlyer, Coachava, Jesus, what are some other ones? I know there's like 3 other ones that Snapchat uses, but those are the 2 I know at least. And what that does is it kind of like pulls in the data from your app, syncs it with your ads manager or business manager on Snapchat, and then it tells you like your campaign performed here, and you got this many actions and events, you know, through this campaign and ad.
Oh wow!
Because I guess
there's something similar for Chrome extensions, which is in my space. Like, you know, it's not exactly an app, for mobile, but it is for, you know, if you're on the browser.
That's interesting. Yeah. I guess to paint a bigger story, it's because like internally, I think they don't have as much like metrics or reporting to give back yet. But if as soon as the user sees your ad on Snapchat, right, and they swipe up to go to the browser to go to your website, and let's say they jump off to Safari or they jump off to Google Chrome, like that other app, and they leave the Snapchat app, we don't know what you do, right? Like there's no way. And so it's like, unless you have that Google Analytics, you have that Snap Pixel, or you have that mobile measurement partner, it's like, give us the eyes to see what happens after you leave the Snapchat app. So that could even include when you go to the Apple and App Store, Google Play Store, and you open up like Spotify, like people who are trying to drive traffic to like a song. Unfortunately, when you leave the Snapchat app, you've got to give it some extra eyeballs to say like, this is what happened on your platform.
Oh, wow. Wow, it can get really complicated. And
I know, right? I sopped it up with all the good things that you can do with it, but quite frankly, there's a lot of technical things behind it as well. But I promise, like, it's a little bit rough of a journey to get it all set up if you're one of these people I just listed, such as like a website converter or like an app developer with no MMP. But once you do, I'm not joking, like all the metrics are showing positive signs. The hardest part is just getting set up. Yeah.
Okay, and in your space, you're saying what's popular for, you know, what product you should run Snapchat ads on are mobile apps, and you've seen e-commerce.
Yeah.
What about like info product? What about courses, digital? I don't know. What about these other ones?
Yeah, I mean, like it comes down to the creative and what landing page you're taking them to, because they're not on a computer, right? They don't have a million tabs open, or like the capability of like shrinking and expanding your window. So like whenever I see an ad account come through and it's trying to go to a click funnel and the landing page was not mobile friendly, of course they're going to see terrible conversions because that person dropped off immediately, and then they report the ad and then it doesn't deliver, that whole like process. But then anybody who has like a native looking ad who has a landing page that's pretty, I don't know, direct as to what the action was in correlation to what the ad was giving, it could be a slam dunk, right? Because then you're right there ready to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. You're saying that it really depends on how they do it, how they deliver it.
It is, yeah. I mean, like, they've got case studies, like they've got their own success stories